Welcome to the Specialty Cropcast on Pomes and Stones. Join us for real conversations with farmers, agribusiness owners, and industry experts as we dive into farming, products, and the business of agriculture, all from the people who know it best.
Welcome back, episode 13, lucky number 13 of the Specialty Cropcast.
It's not Friday the 13th, luckily.
Luckily.
Don't be jinxing us.
I know.
All right, as usual, to my right, Backward Hat Steve has returned his hat to its proper state. Hoodie Zach is in a zip-up vest.
Yep. Going all different tonight.
Looking good.
All different tonight. And our guest in studio, Nate Kulpa.
Why is it so hard?
You got that right.
I don't know. I even wrote it down with a C to try and get that right.
He practiced it a couple times before we started recording.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I love it.
This episode is brought to you by Wilbur-Ellis, supporting growers across the country with expert agronomy, crop protection, nutrition, and data-driven solutions for more than 100 years. All right, Nate, thanks for coming in and joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So we just like to bring people in, whether you're an agronomist, farmer, agribusiness owner, or industry expert of some capacity. And I think you kind of fall into multiple categories there with some experience in what you do. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I started out on a family farm, just growing cherries and plums, actually. And then eventually, graduating high school, I went into trying to figure out where the future of the family farm was going to go. And we decided to plant some grapes. Not knowing anything about grapes, studied plant science with an emphasis in viticulture at MSU. And that's what led me into the grape industry. Worked there as a farm manager for about 4 years. Then I actually moved to the other side and went to the agronomy, agribusiness side of it, and worked as a sales rep for Wilbur-Ellis.
Nice.
And the intent was always to kind of learn both sides of the business, and now back to farm management and still helping on the family farm.
Awesome. So how many acres are you farming?
About 350 total, primarily cherries at this point, and then grapes is probably the second largest crop, and then apples and some plums still.
Nice. So what kind of cherries you're growing? You in the tart cherry, sweet cherry
Tart
world?
and sweet cherries, all for process.
Nice.
So no fresh market sweets yet, but something to think about in the future.
Do you have some on the way?
No. Still, I would like to. I've been looking at some ground thinking that might be the future of that dirt. So we'll see.
I guess we didn't talk about what region or where you're located, where your farm's located at.
Farm I manage is Old Mission Peninsula, and the family farm's in Leelanau County.
Nice. As some would say, as Jake would say, the what did he call it when he was on? The better half of the bay. That's what he always
Better
says.
half of the day.
You see, now we refer to it as the county on Old Mission Peninsula. They think it's the Wild West because they think they're more organized out there. So.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your operation. And so you talked about some of the crops you're doing. Are there any that? What are you doing with the grapes?
So grapes is value added. We do sell grapes to other wineries, but we also have a winery at the farm I manage. So tasting room, Peninsula Cellars, is where a lot of the wine, the wine is made on the farm.
You should have brought some in.
Yeah, if I knew.
We'll have to put that in the disclaimer.
Yeah.
If you have a winery or cidery, you have to bring the product in.
Yep. So that's what we're doing with the wine grapes, and then we actually just branched out here, I think about 2 years ago, and then Peninsula Ciders as well, branded that. So cider apples, even some of the old processed varieties that we have, making cider out of them, hard cider.
Nice. Yeah, we've had a couple. Well, we had the Alec Elton in.
Yep.
And he has got Town Line down the road here, which is delicious. He brought in some award-winning ciders. So next time we'll have to make sure you bring some stuff in. I know, I would have been crushing
It's my fault. It's my fault.
Yeah.
I don't drink, so I don't want
I know,
to
he
bring
doesn't
it.
see. It goes to the back of his
Slips.
head. I know.
Yeah.
It's the non-alcoholic in him.
Well, don't you know? Haven't you ever heard the saying, your first favorite drink is free, your second is cold?
So how do you juggle doing all of the crops between your tart cherry, sweet cherries, the apples, and the wine?
Oh man, it's difficult at times. You can definitely say that. So, starting in the spring, typically apples, kind of get underway. Then it's followed by cherries. Then the plums are right after cherries and bloom-wise. And then the grapes, you get a little bit of delay, so that helps finish pruning and whatnot with them. And then finally the grapes come online. And once they're all online, it's just pure chaos and madness. And then honestly, every day is just prioritizing, what is number one priority. I mean, the funny thing is that some days what is a priority is not even on the list the next day. It changes so fast, due to weather or whatever the case may be. So, I stay busy.
Yeah, that's something that always happens. It doesn't matter how long I could sit at work at the end of the day and talk about what tomorrow's plan is, and then we show up the next morning.
Oh,
it's all out the window.
You got to have a plan, but, at least a course of action. But you look back at the end of the day sometimes and you wonder, what did I do all day? Because it was nothing what I intended to do today.
or one little thing goes wrong and it just grenades your entire day.
Yep.
You have to pivot.
Derails the whole thing.
Just putting out fires.
Yep.
Yep.
So the question I have here is, which crop keeps you up at night the most? But from what you just said was, it kind of goes through the different time periods, right? Because the beginning of the year, you're really worried about apple scab and fire blight and stuff like that. And then, you're the first person we've had on that's not an apple or cherry grower. So it's interesting to hear more about the grapes. Like, what are some of the other issues?
So crops that keep me up, out of all of them, tart cherries specifically, leaf spot.
Is it the price that keeps you up at night?
Yeah, that too. I'm so busy I think about the price.
It's probably for the best.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'd stop spraying. So I mean, it's just the acreage, heavy to the tart cherries. So that's what keeps me up, actually, literally. And then grapes as they're coming on. Powdery mildew and downy mildew are your two primary diseases that you're mostly worried about, especially early season. It's kind of the same thing as, like, let's say brown rot and sweet cherries. I mean, you get powdery mildew and you get it on the fruit, it's a total crop loss. So you have to stay diligent. It starts, we'll say, spraying in May, and I mean, you'll spray for powdery mildew into October.
Right.
So
I will say it's like nothing like grapes don't really have like a leaf spot where it's like,
no,
it's like if you got it and it's bad, like you're going to lose all your leaves. Like,
and in powdery mildew, you have to have a pretty keen eye. So I always say the more eyes, the better, right? So like someone like Steve or any agronomist that you're working with, everybody plays their role and plays their part. But, if you catch it early, you can stop powdery mildew. But I mean, you literally have to catch it as it's starting. Otherwise, once you're seeing it and you're thinking about it, 3-4 days later, there's no hope.
Right, especially if you can't get out, too, because we go through spurts where it's real poor weather, and it's tough to get out and get on top of stuff.
That's what keeps you up at night.
The good news, though, is like powdery mildew doesn't like rain.
Yes.
It actually will kill itself with rain.
Yeah,
right, that's not been bad.
Because it soaks up so much water.
We keep getting into these stints with no rain for
I know.
the whole summer.
I know.
Well, and that's where, a lot of guys will make some mistakes too, is to think, okay, it looks clean out there. It's hot, dry weather. Maybe I'll extend that spray interval. Bad idea. Next thing you know, why do I have powdery mildew? Well, it was conducive weather for it. Where the flip side is you're not worried about powdery when it's raining, hot and humid. Now you got downy mildew, and downy is one of the diseases I've found you cannot stop in grapes. I mean, it's like brown rot. Once you have it, you're chasing it, and you can never get ahead of it.
Do you do a rotation of materials then in order to kind of stay on top of it, or do you have like one or two that you really like the most?
Crop, resistant management, really. So, I mean, you have your favorite products everybody wants to use or does use, but, you have to rotate just to stay abreast of it. Otherwise, again, you'll be in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So are there any timing conflicts between some of those where it's like, have you ever had to choose
all the time?
Which is the worst one that you leave because the other ones are worse, even though you should get
it's
across
a weekly
all of
conversation.
Always. I mean, this is a daily conversation. I actually have a whiteboard, like a chalkboard, actually in the spray barn, and I literally will write, whatever the spray recipe is for cherries and sweet cherries and apples and grapes, and I will put a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. And that's, the order that they are to be sprayed in.
The priority list.
Yep. I mean, that's how I prioritize it. And
Tart cherries always last?
No, actually they're not, because, you get into a bad leaf spot infection and, you can't raise tart cherries. So believe it or not, grapes are, even though powdery and downy are hard pests to control, if you do a good, diligent job at it, it's not as much of a worry as like leaf spot in a tart cherry or apple scab.
Right.
For instance, you get a little bit of forgiveness here and there. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
How do the input costs compare between grapes and the tree fruit?
Well, expensive. So, I wouldn't say it's at least double for your inputs of grapes versus tart sweets or apples. I mean, I should say, I'm talking processed apples, cider apples. So, I mean, this isn't to be compared to like a fresh market apple. I mean, those input costs
Those
are
are
a little
probably
bit
hand
more.
in hand, though.
They're probably
grape and apple.
Yeah,
The
fresh
apple might
market
be a little more.
apples and grapes are probably
Yeah.
they're probably close. I mean, I've never done the actual math for the fresh market apples, but it's just about 3x for processed cherries and processed apples and plums. I mean, most of the
grapes,
labor
yeah.
cost is most of it is labor. I mean, that's all it is. I mean, not a lot of mechanization behind grapes.
So where do you source your labor from?
So some of them are domestic workers, and then we do use the H-2A program as well. So, I mean, that's been a huge help, but expensive as well.
It's coming down. I don't know if you
I haven't looked
that.
into it this year. I mean, it came down a little bit from last year.
It's
and
coming down a
They need to.
sizable amount next year.
Good.
Into two separate categories?
For now.
Yeah.
We'll
Things
see
can
if
still
it's-
change.
Yeah, see if it sticks.
It was 17 something, right? And 13
Yeah.
something, depending on which scale.
Yeah.
Whether they
Okay.
call it a qualified individual or based on experience. So you talked about having a lot of other eyes on the farm to look at the crops. Do you think your experience with being an agronomist and working with Wilbur-Ellis in, having that extra knowledge, like you said, you focused on one thing, then you moved over to agronomy, agribusiness, and then going back again and managing the farm. It's got to be nice to have that extra knowledge from the experience.
Oh, it's
of
night
working
and
at a place.
day, and it's huge, actually, because, you get a keen eye working for Wilbur-Ellis. You're walking everybody else's farm, and, obviously they're looking at you to be some person that will help them and, obviously watch their entire operation and their business. I mean, you're a partner in that aspect, and, it's been huge just to train your eye in that realm. Whereas, on the farm, from a farm manager perspective, I should say, you don't always have time to go out there and look yourself. I mean, you intend to, but, you get pulled every direction possible. So it is nice to just have that one task that you're looking at. And that's why, you have to heavily rely on Steve and other people to be out there scouting, actually, and watching for that disease can pop up anywhere it might.
Right.
So.
Yeah. More eyes are always the better. We do the same thing on our farm. We have our crop scout goes out, looks around, and there's a bunch of us that go out and look around, and some people know more or can pick things out,
Yes.
ahead of time. Some of us are better at spotting SWD stings and fruit than
Definitely.
others, and it's interesting to see how, like you're saying, just a little bit, and if you miss just the beginning of it, it doesn't take long.
No,
before
well,
you have yourself a big problem.
you're sitting in the building thinking everything's great, and it is not. So,
Yeah. We encountered that too, because when we first started the podcast, it's funny, it was right away in the spring, and we were talking about all of the timings on our sprays for apples. Steve's like, oh, I'm doing this and this, and Zach's doing this and this, and I'm doing this, and like different sprays, different materials, different timing. Like, oh, I'm not spraying this weekend, and Zach's like, you're crazy, didn't you see the rain? And I was like, I sprayed 2 days ago.
Oh yeah,
It's so funny how it varies too from
farm to farm.
from farm to farm, and even Zach and I, we have the same crop scout, but we're on
Different
for the-
programs.
different programs, and I mean everyone's.
Well,
doing
I mean, I
different
think
stuff.
we all have the same goal, right? To raise high yield, high quality, and actually get it to harvest. But there's always many ways that you can go about doing that, and there is never really a wrong way to do it. I always just say the right way is to actually, take it from bloom to harvest and actually get it off. So,
Right. Like you're saying, a high quality fruit and as much of it as you can have.
yep.
So what made you move from the agronomy side back to the farm?
That was always the intention, was to go back to the farm. I mean, obviously, one day to retire to my family farm, if you will. And so I always wanted to learn both sides of the business, see how it worked, and then, take the knowledge that I learned from Wilbur-Ellis and, apply that to actually my own farming operation and obviously try to be successful doing it. So,
Nice.
I wanted to switch gears and talk about the winery, though, that you're talking about starting your own personal one.
Yes, so that is the plan.
Yeah, tell us about that a little bit.
Family farm, primarily wine grapes now anymore. Gotten rid of all the cherries that we used to grow. And
You hate to see it.
yeah, I mean, it's bittersweet to me. I do have a love for the orchards. I really do. And I'm not saying I won't plant cherries again, but, it'll be more in the fresh market realm, if you will, than the process, changing gears and trying to go more towards agritourism. And that's what leads me to starting my own winery, actually. And it's always been a dream and a goal of mine to do. So the intent for the wine grapes that are on the family farm is to actually go value added and have a winery ourselves. So that is hopefully on the horizon.
Where are you at with that process?
Process right now is township, filling out township paperwork, really.
Gotcha. Yep.
It's always fun. So
it's harder than it sounds.
yes, exactly.
We had a great admin talk last episode.
Oof, yeah.
So, township paperwork, filed the name. The name is going to be Junction 641. So we'll see once we make it through the red tape, as they say,
Right?
and see how fast we can get that up. But, the goal is to be open sometime, hopefully by 2027, I'll say. I mean, you got to go through all the liquor licensing, the MLCC and whatnot. So
Maybe we should do a live podcast at the grand opening.
Ooh.
yeah, that would be
that would be
awesome.
sweet.
Heck yeah. That's a good
I'm in.
idea.
I'm in.
Steve's like, I might have to break my sobriety
Right?
for this event.
Yep.
Dude, I know Myrtle and Maud's, right? We're battling the local
Oh, yeah.
government as well.
I mean, the one thing, I can say, I have a broader horizon, if you will. I mean, I deal with Peninsula Township, then I'm in Bingham Township. I mean, it's night and day versus zoning ordinances. And then I don't know what township you're in.
Whitewater, yeah.
Whitewater, where you don't even have an ordinance
Right.
yet. So I don't know. I think you're in the pretty good position for the driver's seat, if you're asking.
It's just, yeah.
I mean, it's never easy.
All right, so let's change gears a little bit here, and we'll talk a little bit about soil. So what are some things that you're doing to manage or improve your soil health across some of your crops? Because up here we have a notoriously low organic matter, which can make things a little difficult. So,
And same, one thing I guess I could say, I'm a believer, I guess, in, trying to build organic matter, but I mean, that takes a century to actually pull off. And so I'm usually looking at the soil and saying, okay, this is what I have to work with. So what can I do? So I'm really big into the fertility program, my fertilizer program, working with what I have to work with, basically. So soil samples every 2 to 3 years, make adjustments, based on the results. So there's always the goal to, maximize yield and quality. And then obviously, if we're trying to build, let's say, potash in the soil or phosphorus, are we actually building it based on the current fertility program we're running? And then obviously, do we need to adjust if we have reached a goal? And so, I mean, that's probably the biggest thing. Then pulling tissue samples, leaf samples, actually seeing what is coming up through the plants is kind of how I operate, I guess, trying to build the organic matter. I think it's a great idea, but it's sometimes cost prohibitive to do so.
Do you irrigate? Do you have to irrigate grapes?
Oh, yeah.
Do you?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've younger vineyards, when you're establishing a young vineyard, it's key to have irrigation. You don't have to, but obviously it helps get you into full production like anything else. Once, they have a real deep taproot, grapes do. Goes down about 20 feet. So honestly, once it's a mature vineyard, it's not as critical to have water on it.
that's pretty far down there.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, they can really weather the storm for stress and drought stress. I mean, it's, you'll notice on a cherry tree, if it's a drought stress event, within days you can see the leaves starting to cup and droop a little bit, where grapes, I mean, they go for weeks and
They look good
they
all
don't
the
even
time.
know. Exactly. It's not till really the last month of the year where you can see if they're getting any kind of stress or not.
Yeah, that's crazy because you think you're just good the whole time.
Always, yeah.
Looks good from the barn. You're like,
Yeah.
"Good." Grapes number 4 on the list.
Yes,
Everything's
that's how
looking
it
good.
goes.
Yep.
You wouldn't want to plant any grapevines on top of tile lines then?
No, they'd probably get in there.
Don't plant grapes.
Yeah.
Stick to the apples. One thing we've done on our farm in the recent years is with the cost of inputs on the rise that we're trying to just battle those abiotic stresses that the plant gets with just nutrients and fertility program to just keep a healthier plant. Because you keep a healthy plant, it can really start to fight off those, some of the issues. Some of them, you can't avoid, but that's definitely something that we've noticed in the last 3-4 years is that we're really focusing on nutrition. And
I will second that. I have noticed that if you really are abreast of your nutrient program, specifically nitrogen, I mean, nitrogen really does play a role in, warding off some drought stress for a little bit of time. I mean, it's not the answer, if you will, but it definitely helps push it back. And that goes for any product that keeps your trees or vines healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything in that fertility program that you do that you've noticed that's made a huge difference?
I think humic acid's made a huge difference in my sandy soils. I mean, we basically have beach sand in some parts of the farm. I mean, it's like going to the beach. So humic there really helps with nutrient efficiency and uptake. I can't, on the heavier soils, it always looks good compared to the sandy soils, right? So it's hard to really get a tell. Mm-hmm. But, I'll say 10 years ago, I wasn't really playing around with humic too much.
Even some fulvic acid, I think we played
with. We played with some fulvic acid last year, and man, there's something to it. I'll say that. Yeah. So
that was mixed with 28.
Yep.
28% in fulvic acid.
And humic. There was humic in there.
And
I can't think of what else was in there, but it was night and day. I mean, it's probably some of the nicest tart cherries I actually have ever raised, and Steve and I were looking at each other going, is that cost effective for tart cherries?
Yeah,
but
I know.
They were beautiful.
The answer to that question is usually no.
Yes, exactly.
This year, maybe.
Maybe.
Shoot.
Probably next year.
I will say I didn't put it on.
Pricing is going to be pretty strong next year. So.
We didn't put it on this year, so I can't say how tried and true it is yet. But, there wasn't enough of them to really need an extra help.
Yeah.
They were doing just fine on their own with the dry fertilizer program that I run.
Yeah.
So Zach mentioned irrigation a little bit a couple minutes ago, and we had kind of given up on all of our cherry blocks just because, I don't know, it started getting torn up, and we just kind of quit running it because we were having a lot of wet summers, and then we started doing apples, and that's a whole nother animal now where it's every row, the whole shebang, and we've got it broken down by variety.
And you're fertigating.
And we do a lot of fertigation through it. We do, we're doing
triple nine.
The triple 9.
Okay.
But it's got the humic in it and also the Puric Prime, right? Or it's the bugs in a jug.
Oh,
Nutrio Unlock.
Nutrio Unlock, Nate.
Yeah, see him
it's
right
got
on
all
top
that
of
stuff in it. Yeah.
The bugs in the jug.
The bug in the
bugs
jug.
in a jug.
The bug in the jug.
Hey, there's something to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Rhizobacteria, man.
Yep.
We've been using the irrigation a lot, and what kind of technology are you using to manage that? Are your valves? Is it just set up like a Rainbird switch,
it's a range. We had some electric switches until just time, I guess, whether it be critters ate the wires or whatnot. So everything's pretty much manual now, just different zones. Mm-hmm. I guess, we haven't done anything with probes in the soil yet. I mean, that's kind of a direction I'd like to move. But kind of like you just said, I've kind of really backed off on watering cherries. I mean, the whole farm's irrigated, but, we don't run the irrigation like we used to. I'll say that. We've noticed as you get to any kind of mature crop, you can kind of hold back a little bit. And, I am a big believer and proponent of like irrigating during bloom. So on like cherries, for instance, I like to turn the water on then because it's always dry in the springtime. So I believe it helps set a crop. Other than that, unless it's really droughty through the season, I usually have the water off. So
yeah, the only blocks that we do it, we turn it on and we just hammer it just to get the fruit size up, like right before harvest, especially in our southern Michigan farms because it's so dry down there.
See that works if you water?
We think so.
Yeah,
we like to believe so.
Yeah, I mean, I've done it.
We do it every
we've all
year.
Done it,
we
right?
still do it. Any well that's working that has irrigation lines that we've sent guys down to check. Sure, we do it.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I believe in it, but I have found if you actually stay diligent early, I think you actually do gain the size you're looking for. But I mean, I've been in situations where I've never turned the water off.
Well, I mean, we had a fall like that not this year, but the
last
year before.
Yeah.
We had 2 months, almost 3 months with no rain.
It was bad.
And it was still considerably dry even after we started getting some rain, because we talked about it before. I was pulling trees out, pine trees, on doing some property maintenance stuff, and I was 5-6 feet down, and it was bone dry still.
Oh man,
Just
we were
brutal.
pushing out an orchard last fall, and it was so dry. It was just powder.
The trees don't like to come out.
No,
when
they
it's
do
like that.
not. And it
You'll
was
be
like,
picking a lot of roots, doing a lot of picking.
yeah. They asked the guys; they weren't impressed.
Yeah, we do on our farm. We've started with Bluetooth valves. So we
Okay.
put batteries in them every spring, and then it connects to your phone via Bluetooth. But you got to be within Bluetooth range, so you can set the whole schedule, and you can trust it to cycle through all night long.
Do you
So,
do anything with soil moisture probes?
Yes, we have 4 moisture
Okay.
probes through Wilbur-Ellis, and we use Probe Schedule, I
Yep.
believe is the app.
That's the direction I want to
Yep.
go to. Pro schedule. I've looked at it several times. It's just a matter of, as you know, irrigation's a lot of work to maintain. So
Yes, it is.
make sure it's actually working before you make the investment into.
Yeah, and it's super cool because they'll show you a diagram of the root, and you can see exactly where the water's at, what the percentage is. It shows you all your field capacities. How much where you're at before it runs off or leaches through. And
Do you try deficit watering by chance on any apples?
we haven't, because
It
we're on
never
our
stops
second year.
raining?
Yeah, and we usually get enough.
That's a little bit hard when you can't control Mother Nature.
Exactly. We usually can depend on a little bit of rain in the fall
Yes.
to not have to worry about doing that. But actually, in 2026, I'm pretty excited. We have a opportunity to work with a company out of Canada that is all of their irrigation stuff is accessible via cellular data.
Wow.
So you can set all the stuff. It has flow meters, and you can even put meters down to each individual row. So it can tell you, like, if your flow drops, you'll get an alert on your phone, and it'll tell you that you have a break in a line. And if
Wow.
you pay the big bucks and you have a sensor on every row, it'll tell
mean,
you which row went down.
That would be nice.
It's a piece of mind. It's a piece of mind.
Yo,
I mean, there
yeah.
may be a slight promotional for free product deal I'm getting for it, because I'm not sure we would invest in that type of that technology for.
No,
paying
but I
for it,
think
but-
that also,
Yeah.
that's, goes back to sustainable farming, though. You have to move with the times, and you really can't cut costs, if you will. You just have to become more efficient at the cost you are spending.
Yeah.
So, I mean, turning on a well is expensive.
Oh yeah.
So, knowing when to turn it on and when to turn it off and not guessing is that's half the battle.
Yep.
How do you decide? When
Dude,
Steve
I do
tells
want to
you?
talk about sulfate of potash versus
Oh,
muriate
man,
of potash.
That's a tough
Ooh,
one.
you're gonna have to break that down a lot.
Need the soil expert in here.
I know,
It's
I
not
know.
me.
Did Megan talk about that on her podcast?
I don't know if
I
she
don't
did.
think so.
She's a huge supporter.
I mean, I
sulfate
think,
of
when
potash.
you just scratching the surface of it, you're talking about salt index. So, the sulfated potash has a lower salt index. I think here, northern Michigan, maybe even Michigan in general, we don't have high salty soils. So, your muriate of potash, I don't know if it's a no-go. I mean, it also comes down to cost. The biggest thing with the sulfated potash, though, is the free sulfur you get in it, for the money you're spending. So anymore, I don't know, when you look at a soil sample, a lot of them are very low in sulfur. I mean, I've been seeing that in the last 10, 15 years. And, it has a play instead of adding sulfur to a blend as a whole separate product in your blend. Can't say that it's cheaper to use sulfated potash in that aspect, because, you can add elemental sulfur pretty cheaply to a blend if you need it. And sometimes, it's all about cost. Obviously, you don't get as much actual potash with sulfated potash either. So, when you're trying to build, you might not necessarily be doing it a cost-effective way. But there is something to it. I mean, I do both. I play around with it, and grapes specifically. I mean, it's a little more high value compared to the cherries.
Yep.
And
They say that the grapes are more sensitive to the chloride too in the muriate, right?
yeah.
Anyways.
But like I say, I've done both, forms of potash in grapes. I can't tell you I see a visual difference,
Yeah,
if there's
same.
the chlorides affecting those grapes or not. Somebody once told me, maybe you'll get higher yields out of the sulfated potash. I mean, I track yields very closely, and I can't really tell you one way or the other. All I can really say is your input cost is higher on your fertility program if you use sulfated potash.
Yep.
I think, in a state where you have high alkaline or high salinity in your soil, then you would obviously want to be using sulfate of potash, but
You guys don't even spread potash anymore.
No, Tom doesn't believe in it.
Tell us more
Yeah,
about that.
He says
Enlighten
that no matter,
us.
He says that no matter what we do, the soil samples don't reflect a change.
Basically,
I don't think
he thinks it's available.
it's
in the
available
soil.
there. That's what he says.
Everywhere. In
the
all your
time.
orchards.
Yeah. All 3,000 acres. There's not one bit of deficiency.
hey, I'm thinking there's always nutrients out there till you farm them all out of there, you know.
Right. But it's been how many years since you guys spread potash?
It's been a while since I think I remember doing it.
Well, we recently just took on a lease, and believe it or not, we took those soil samples ahead and had potash in 30 years, and surprisingly, not that bad. I mean, it was low, but not that bad. But I will say,
I'm telling you, this is why we're trying to cut inputs back to save money on the farm.
Yeah.
Potash is the first one on the block.
So what's a fertilizer blend of yours look like?
Depends.
Or yours?
Yeah,
Oh, us?
for you guys.
We
Do
do
you
different.
even know, or you just
No.
and you just go?
No. We just do different ones every year. Tom changes all depending on what he wants to spend the money on. Because one year we did that one from
Oh, yeah, Megan.
Megan.
Yeah, that was great.
that was a dude. Yeah, but
But did your apples grow or not?
Yes, I would say they definitely
Right?
grew from. Okay.
I mean, I think
Your goal is to get them to the top wire.
Well, yes.
So fertilize the crap out of them so they get to the top wire.
Well, we are. That's why we're dumping the 999 on them now.
What was that rate? I think Megan had you guys
It was
330 pounds
something
the
an
acre.
It's just going cha-ching, cha-ching,
Yep.
cha-ching every.
Hey, we did this. Steve took the soil test, and we gave it to Megan, and she was like, "I'm the soil gal. I'm gonna get you guys straightened out." And it was 47,000 totes, or what do they call them? The super sacks.
The super sacks.
super sacks.
The
Yeah,
super
isn't that
sacks we were
fun?
doing. Yeah, that was a blast.
I like dumping it in bulk on the concrete,
Yeah.
Yep.
but I have fun with those every year.
Oh, yeah.
Well, like what's a blend you put on your cherries?
No, I couldn't tell you.
You just put it on.
Tom's our fertility guy. He orders all the stuff.
So you're applying it. You're
I'm not.
supposed to know.
I'm not applying it.
Oh, you're not.
I have help for that.
below your pay grade.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, just like not looking back on a fumigator and losing your packer 4 rows ago.
Yep.
Whoops.
Whoops.
This is a big rock.
I've lost ours before when it's popped the pin out.
Oh no, this busted the hitch right off.
Wow.
Of it.
It looked like it wedged itself in there
Wow, it did.
pretty well.
Yep.
That's impressive.
Just kept right on going. Got the
promise.
field done with the high low. Said
Yeah.
somebody come pick it up.
Job is done. It's complete.
Yep.
This episode is sponsored by Wilbur-Ellis, delivering what growers need to succeed, from inputs and insights to long-standing partnerships across every acre and every season. So, like I mentioned, input prices and labor costs continue to rise. What's that look like on your farm?
Like everybody else is going up and even going up higher than that. So, labor is honestly probably the number one concern most of the time, and primarily just the grapes. I mean, there's just so much hand labor involved. So, you try to cut labor, but it's impossible. I mean, it does take so many bodies to get across the ground. So a lot of what I've been doing is I've been using Ag Verdict, actually just the acreage, just looking at that, and I've integrated crop sites into it now so that I can see some more real-time costs actually. So, as I'm running a spray program and spraying, I put in my spray record, it pulls it through crop sites, and, I have real-time cost of what that application actually was. So instead of looking at my spray bill, monthly or when it's due and being like, wow, that's a big bill, I can kind of budget with crop sites, and I can see, okay, here's the budget I sent on my, chemical spend or my fertility spend. And, are we creeping up to it or not, or where we're actually at? So, I mean, I think getting more efficient with how you're spending your dollars, I guess, and watching them closer is the best way I've found to, in essence, cut costs. I mean, you really got to be on top of it. So, I mean, I'm down to the acre for grapes per se. I know like tucking takes so many hours per acre. It takes so many guys per acre, or one guy can only take care of so many acres of grapes. So, where we've had maybe some extra hands in years past, we're kind of skeleton now because we can be, we got it figured out that, a good worker that's efficient can get X amount of work done, and you know, we don't have 2 extra guys. We're
Right.
you know, sometimes it'd be nice, but you know, you just can't do it with the cost of it. And then, like I say, it just helps bring back the efficiency tenfold.
So you've found ways to trim costs or improve the efficiency without hurting the yields. It's kind of
Yes.
what you're saying. It's just by keeping a closer eye and maybe seeing that you're spending a little too much in this area, or you
Yep.
don't need that extra person.
And
You can
kind of
dial
goes
that
back to what you were talking about, you know, even putting potash on or not doing it anymore. I mean, we're looking at it closely with the soil samples and tissue samples and, you know, seeing what's available in the soil. How is that corresponding and coming through the plants? But, you know, we don't want to lose yields because it's all about yield on the acre. I mean, you need X amount of yield or X amount of tons per acre to stay profitable and sustainable. So, you know, we watch that very closely.
How's the grape industry doing right now?
It's worse than the tart cherry industry.
Oh, I can't believe that.
that might be the boldest statement we've had on the
You know
podcast.
what?
That's not a bold statement.
It's he's not far off.
No,
but I remember
it is-
when I first started working with Nate, he was like, "Steve, grapes. There's never been a grape that hasn't been picked."
You
And
know,
now
the
this
last
year,
2 years, there's more grapes not being picked. The
then
animals
they
are
are
very
picked.
happy.
yeah.
You know, I mean,
So what is that?
Spoke it into existence.
Yeah,
yes.
Is that because there's just the market's been saturated with?
the wine
know,
sales are
I-
down.
markets
Okay.
you could say is saturated, but really wine sales are down.
Quit drinking.
Yeah,
I quit
it's-
drinking.
Wine sales
people
are
like
down.
I mean,
Steve, he's
people in
not doing his
general.
part.
I
Steve
know,
and Zach.
Yeah,
I know.
Nate noticed it a couple of years ago, right, Steve?
Yep.
yeah.
Can you make a non-alcoholic wine?
Yes, actually, there are a few wineries. We're
Oh.
not playing around
Called
with it
sparkling
yet,
cider.
Oh,
but there
Sparkle
are.
water. Grab a Propel and
That is actually the one market right now that's growing is non-alcoholic wines.
see, people are on a health kick right now.
I know it.
So I think
And-
there's that. You know, there's a lot of new products coming on the market, and it's not beer. You know, there's seltzers. I mean, there's
So
a
much.
lot of products available to the consumers, and you know, consumers are trying new things.
They're willing to try it. Yeah.
Wine is considered traditional, so you know
Yep.
it's been around for centuries. I think it still will be around for centuries. It's just kind of going through a reset at the moment. You know, to go back to like how bad the industry is. You know, you both have tart cherries. I mean, in your lifetime of farming, and probably even your grandparents' lifetime, tart cherries prices have always been up and down, primarily down. But the processors, the buyers of the cherries, they always buy. You know, they might not buy 100% of the crop across, you know, the state of Michigan, but for the most part, it's always bought. It might just be bought at a cheaper price. I mean, most processors, and I'll say the majority, I won't say a percentage of grapes, buyers of grapes, are selling their own grapes as a grower processor, you know, us included. I mean, we're not buying grapes when we used to buy grapes for the need. We just don't have the sales anymore to support it. So that's why the grape industry has gotten so bad, is because the buyers are not buying. So a lot of fruit is hanging out there.
Is there other things you can do with your grapes besides doing wine, or?
Well, we've been looking into it. I mean, you can make grape jams and whatnot. Some people I know this year played around with actually making grapes into vinegar. There's some are playing around with, you know, grape juice, you know,
Grape cider.
non-alcoholic. I don't know if anybody's tried grape cider yet, but maybe.
I shouldn't have mentioned it. Cut that out.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to do it.
Could be a first.
Yeah.
Could be a Myrtle and Lawn thing.
Right?
I mean, you know, we've tried around adding tart cherries to grapes as well, and you know, trying to make a seltzer. I mean, you tried a lot of things. It's tough, you know, and it's an expense to try to take that product to market as well. You know, you got to get a label, you got to go through the branding of that and protect your brand and your label, and so sometimes we have a lot of ideas sitting around the table, especially at lunch. But you know, we just, you know, has one stuck that says, okay, it's worth the investment to see, you know, is this going to do something or not? And, you know, you start looking at markets around you and it's like, okay, somebody's already tried it, but, you know, how's it doing? And it's not doing that well for your investment or your return on it. So,
Might want to go the other way.
yeah.
Let them take that one.
Yeah, sometimes you
Let
have
them
to
take that L.
see exactly.
Yeah.
Can you sell them for like edible grapes that you buy at the store, or is this a different?
So
They're
wine,
seeded,
there's
yeah.
seeds in them. So I'm
Okay.
not saying you can't eat them. You eat them all the time.
Yep.
But, you know, they have seeds. So, you know, the consumer is used to what they
Seedless?
call, you know, seedless table grapes. I mean, that's
Okay.
what you see.
Do you
on
have any
grocery-
table grapes planted?
No, I mean there's a few mixed in, but not really.
I planted 16 plants this spring, baby.
Oh man, I can't wait to try them.
If they turned out like it's pumpkins, you might want
I'll tell you.
The
I'll tell you what, the birds like the table grapes.
Yeah.
If you think
the beetles, dude, the Japanese beetles ate all my leaves.
we net all the grapes for
Were you not
bird
scouting them
control.
or what?
No, I was just driving by them. They're mixed in with the corn maze. So.
Whoops.
They're in the corn maze?
Yeah.
Well,
They're
no
like
wonder
right on
why.
the edge, but
We need to
some
have a talk
corn
with the
got
farm manager.
planted. Yeah. Hey, I'm just seeing what
You
they'll
need
grow
to borrow,
through,
you
man.
need
They're
to borrow
vines.
Talon's auto steer or something
Yeah,
for
right.
when you're
Yes.
planting that stuff. You know.
Yeah.
So what's been the biggest cost surprise since taking over management for you?
Oh
Or something you
boy,
didn't expect and you're like, whoa.
gosh, that's a tough one. I mean, because obviously labor, I expect it. You know, chemicals, you expect it. I mean, that's a top 5 expense. So honestly, I don't know what's a major cost all the time. I think probably what I get surprised by year over year is equipment repair bills. I mean, some years it seems like, wow, we had a pretty good year. And the last 2 years, I mean, it's just been piling on a guy. So, you know, and that's a very hard one to control, obviously, because if it's broke, you need to fix it. And it never breaks when you don't need it. So that's probably my biggest surprise most of the time is when I look at the budget year end. I'm like, wow, I spent a lot of money on equipment repairs this year. And I never look at the actual total spend because it kind of comes down to it has to be spent anyways.
Right.
There's
Yeah, you got to have the equipment.
instances where you
Yeah.
can shop around and, you know, find cheaper parts or come up with a different way. But then there's a lot of instances when you're in harvest and it's whoever has that
Yeah,
part. and
it's got to be here.
you don't even ask the price. You just look at the bill later.
So we were talking about technology a little bit there. What do you see? Do you see anything realistically helping specialty crop growers in the future? You know, we talked about a apple picking machine that might pick a little slower, but Zach says, you know, you can leave it out there all night long and it might not drop as many, but you get up in the morning and there's boxes on the ground.
I mean, there's a lot in the pipeline that obviously isn't tried and true yet, but like I'll speak on the apple picking machine versus a grape harvester. So when I first entered the grape industry, we handpicked everything and used to have a 20-person crew to pick 40 acres. I mean, that's a lot of people for 40 acres of grapes. We bought a grape harvester back in 2017 and 2 of us harvest now. I mean, just the savings and labor just specifically harvest the grapes paid for the harvester in less than 5 years. And now, you know, the harvester's good for many years to come. So huge savings. So I think mechanization in general, you know, if it can be done, like the apple harvester, it might not seem efficient right now. It's probably not going to be efficient on some of your older 3D orchards, but, you know, as everyone's starting to move to a high density planting, more 2D, I think, you know, you almost have to do something like that so that you can maximize an apple harvester in the future. And yeah, it can go 24 hours a day. And I think that's where your savings are going to be. I mean, I keep waiting for the robots where they can prune and tuck grapes. You know, that would be huge. Maybe one day that'll happen.
I thought about like put on a pair of glasses while you were pruning something and it could like AI analyze the tree instead of wasting the time for people. Maybe people who aren't trained on how to prune as well. They just look and it could
Well,
highlight.
everybody prunes differently.
I mean,
It's also
probably
very true. Yeah, that's
Very
true.
differently.
I mean, probably the biggest savings really for a chemical application is running sonic spray or smart spray. I have both. And I mean, that's been huge for spraying trees. Doesn't work as well in grapes because the sensors read the wire in the trellis and it's, you know, it gets kind of confused.
So high
but,
density apples would be kind of the same.
yeah, I think if your orchard's mature and full, I think, you know, it would work. It might work because you don't have as many wires and your posts are further apart. But, you know, I think anything that's high density, it might not have the fit. I think the fit there is, you know, a rate controller of a sort, you know, to just keep your rate accurate. But, you know, anything where you have trees that are freestanding, we'll say, I mean, it's been huge. I mean, that's my biggest cost savings in a chemical application.
Yeah, we saw that on when Hudson brought their tractor and the Smart Apply system out. It was when they did it in our high density block. They were spraying the top wire and that top nozzle was on, even though it was 3 feet.
But I think, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, we were trying it out. I had it actually this summer as well. And, you know, I think with the Smart Applied, I think you can turn individual nozzles off. So,
Correct.
you could turn that one off that's spraying the top if your apple trees weren't that tall, which is nice. Whereas what I'm running currently, I just have 3 zones on each side. So you can turn a zone off, but you can't turn one nozzle off.
That's exactly what Zach said
Yep.
to Ryan. He was like, it's really nice because sometimes you only need just that one nozzle. You don't need everything else above. And
Exactly.
the flexibility you have in that is super cool.
I mean, did John Deere integrate with the Smart Applied yet officially? I know they were trying to integrate so they would talk to one another. There was this thought that, you could use some of the John Deere technology.
I think that's where he said
To
he was
you can
trying to head that way.
create
so you could
and
use their
set-
monitor.
Yeah, and then
not-
you could create and set boundaries. So like, even for myself, but you two have a lot more orchard. If you had to hire help that was, butted up against another orchard and it wasn't theirs, that sprayer wouldn't even turn on and spray. Because I've had that happen before where a guy will spray an orchard that's not our orchard. The neighbor's like, well, thanks for getting that sprayed. I'll skip it this time. So
If you have good neighbors.
Yeah,
of our farms
some of
border
them
some
not-
people who like to skip a couple sprays and they like it when
Yes.
we have a little, 1 or 2 nozzles doesn't shut off all the way.
yes,
and they make the
exactly.
corner.
Whoops.
Just kidding. All of our nozzles shut off. Our drift management plan is
Right
top
on
tier.
key.
Top tier.
Same. I can't say I'm shifting.
What about some more like disease resistant?
Yeah, I
varieties?
think they're on the horizon. I've seen a lot of nurseries are, starting to play around with more disease resistant to like powdery mildew or downy mildew in grapes. I don't personally have anything, and I don't really know anybody that's playing around with them yet. I mean, we've tried some wine from some of these varieties, and I mean, I think it's winemaker dependent. The wine was not terribly spectacular, so
Okay.
I think that's going to be its biggest hurdle is, it might be disease resistant, but if you can't make good wine, if you're not generating revenue, I mean, what are you doing? So
Spending money.
exactly.
Dude,
So
I want to go back to the technology thing though. There was something I thought of earlier. So like scouting with drones, and we've talked about this before, and I know it can be done, but
Well, and how about spraying with drones too?
yes, that too.
I would like to know.
the
There
crop.
was a few guys playing with it this year.
Yep.
I get to ask them to see. Have
Yeah,
you-
we
either one
should
of you
talk
played with-
to.
They did a demo on your farm we checked out.
we did a demo.
That was
Yeah.
on tart cherries.
Yeah.
Just on some tree. Yep.
We
Dean
did a-
Johnson.
we did a
He
demo
probably did
on
it the
ours.
most out of everybody.
But he actually did it.
Yeah.
I don't know if he stayed
Every
tried and
other
true.
spray.
It was every other spray. So he was still pulling the pole blast through. But
Yep.
How good's that result?
But
though?
I mean,
Yeah,
if you
exactly.
could scout, I feel like this is could be a huge cost savings because if you had a drone that could detect all your major pests and issues, like you fly that thing out, and if everything looks clear, like, hey, maybe I don't have to spray today.
well, I
And then
think
or maybe the next day it flies out and you see powdery mildew.
I think the biggest advantage to the drone is it can see, like, let's say if it's picking up infrared or something,
Yeah.
it can just see a hot spot before you can see
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
yourself.
that's what I'm saying.
And I think, let's say that's a 3, 4, 5 day jump, right? Like maybe you're sitting there thinking, okay, I'm going to spray on this day, which is 3 or 4 days from now. Well, if you had a drone out there scouting it and it was like, hey, you actually have disease forming that you can't see with the naked eye,
Yep.
would you change your spray schedule? You probably would. You'd
Yeah.
spray right now.
Right.
And if you sprayed that soon, you could probably actually control it and or stop it before it even
Right.
starts.
Right.
So I think
Or it could go the other way. And every 3 or 4 days that you save yourself some spraying at the end of the year, that's
for sure, and
yeah, it
I
could
agree with
count
that.
for
I think
2 3 sprays that you don't do anymore.
100%. I think it would
So-
work both ways. So I'm a big
But
believer.
the imagery or how they capture that, I don't know. That's
yeah,
gotta
I don't
be-
know. I mean, I've seen some good technology out there. I just don't know if anybody's put it in a commercial setting yet.
Not
per
for
se.
specialty crop anyway.
Yeah, I know they're playing around with it in row crops pretty
Yeah.
heavily, and I think it is working. But like I say, I've yet to actually see anybody in Michigan, northern Michigan, in specialty crops.
Try it 100%.
Yeah.
Too. I mean, you can do a couple here and there, like you're
Well,
saying.
that's the
but
thing. Like, the Johnsons were playing with actually using the drone and spraying some apples, and I think he may have even done some cherries. I mean,
Yes.
we did the drone demo on tart cherries this spring, but there wasn't even leaves on them yet. And they used like a
Water sensitive paper. or
yeah.
whatever.
Well, they used water sensitive paper. They actually had like a black light too. They put a dye in the water. I mean, the coverage looked very good, but it's like, okay, we'll put some leaves on these trees and see what that looks like.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I thought about trying a block because it's pretty far away from everything. We call it the lost block. And I thought,
I don't even go there.
No.
Nate, I pull up. Hey, did you check out the lost block? Nope, I'm not going back there.
That's why, because it
It's
gets
scary.
forgotten.
It's
Yeah.
scary.
It's all about having those extra eyes on your farm.
Yes.
To make sure you're watching stuff, but no one will go there.
Yes. But that one's surrounded by woods and it's by itself. And I thought, and it's like a 3-acre block. And I thought, man, if there's a time to try this and see if it's going to work or fail, hopefully it can't jump to anything else. So I'd like to do it, but it's not a big enough block to where it's cost effective, if you will, price wise, to have the company come in with a drone and do it.
Right.
But it is something I would like to do just to see if it could be tried. And
We
true.
had our corn and pumpkin sprayed.
How'd
by a
that
drone.
do?
Great. They did great.
Did you stick with it 100%? Or
We just did one spray.
Yeah,
But,
then-
but he
and
said
then-
you could see over. He could see.
Yeah,
over
you
the
can
corn.
see over the corn. So
I could finally.
How well did it really?
I don't know
before
about
the corn
that.
was this tall.
What about the
and then it was this
fertility
tall.
program?
But the pumpkins blew up from. It was just like in demand 30, basically 28%,
30L.
right? Yeah. And it worked great. At first, I was like, and then
I mean, it's
2 days later,
pretty cool to watch, if anything.
Yeah.
and then a few weeks later, I totally burned our pumpkins and killed them. So playing mad scientist,
And
with
they call you
sprayer.
the agronomist.
Yep. I'd rather burn my own
And
than
he's like,
somebody
he's
else's.
like, I gotta find a new.
Yeah. Oh, Nate's a mad chemist.
Oh,
If you want to see some
Steve-
tank mixes,
Steve gets worried when I make
I
Tex
go,
mixes.
dude, what do you? No,
He
I'm just walking away.
He says he told me this year from last year, he's just like, man, a few times I was pretty nervous to pull in here and see what was going to happen. And I was like,
I
Steve,
was.
when I get done putting this in the sprayer, we can't say we didn't try.
right?
Yeah, well, that's
I said
fair.
we
Dude,
tried
it was
everything.
Like 10.
I think I had 10, 12 products in the tank at one time.
Yeah,
That's just-
yeah.
I mean, there's some
mean,
apple
it
sprays
seems-
that get up
oh,
there.
yeah.
oh,
that's for
dude,
sure.
and like some phosphites mixed with some
Oh,
nutrients that probably shouldn't be mixed, and
Yep.
some systemic things. You're like, oh gosh.
always follow the label, folks.
the label
Yes.
is the law.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, I'll tell you what, those cherries were beautiful.
they were. They were.
So, I think that actually, maybe makes Steve nervous, but that's one thing, being on the agronomist side, working for Wilbur-Ellis, I know the products very well. I know all the products very well. So is leery,
not afraid to do certain
to
things.
Right.
do things that maybe somebody would say, and I don't know, that doesn't seem like that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, but it can be done and we're going to do it. And,
Right.
it's not necessarily always recommended, but, certain scenarios like last year, it's like, we don't get out there and get after this, we're going to lose this crop. And
Right, and you don't want to make that many passes too.
No.
If you can get, if it's as long as the tank mix stays together, you
yes,
don't have any
exactly.
issues.
Yes, there's that.
Get them in there.
There's
Exactly.
Save yourself a good trip across the farm. That's for sure.
Yep.
So, what's your philosophy when it comes to using new products versus like old tried and true? Like we talked about Axios and how it was the first time that I had given that a try, and how
I like to be on we'll say the leading edge of things. So I am a big proponent of trying new products. I have learned some hard lessons in the past, kind of like what you had mentioned. You didn't, buy right into it, if you will, and put it on every acre. Let's say I have tried certain products where it's like, okay, we've put them on a lot of acres, and I wouldn't say total failure, but it didn't work as well as it was said to have worked. And
Tell us about Efficax and Gramoxone.
I was the first person in Wilbur-Ellis to find out those two products couldn't mix together. About made seaweed in the tank.
jeez.
Oh yeah,
Beautiful
Yeah,
Efficax, awesome product.
Yeah.
Don't mix it with Gramoxone.
yeah.
And at the time, nobody knew that
Nobody
that
knew.
could be mixed together. So,
Somebody has to be the first.
But
You
again,
didn't
I
do
like
the jar test first. Just dump it in the tank and go.
yeah, that's what happened.
Hope.
It was. Yeah, we were talking about seaweed in the jar.
Yeah, exactly. It was in the spray filters.
Yeah.
But no, I definitely try out new products all the time and always trying to figure out something that I can put, the tool in the toolbox, as they say, and,
Yeah.
something to add for my resistance management. And, I try to give some of these older chemistries a break. But I will say when it comes to raising tart cherries, I've gone back to my grandfather's day of raising tart cherries for one, for cost, and two, man, does it actually work?
Mm-hmm.
Some of these newer products, single site mode of actions, we're losing them too fast. I mean, they're
Yep.
rock stars coming out of the jug in the beginning, but if 5 years later, you start to have resistance issues no matter how hard you've tried your resistance management.
Last week we talked about taking advantage of grants, crop insurance, and extra funding, through certain projects. You guys, do you take advantage of any of that kind of stuff?
I
on your farm?
personally have not on my own farm, but the farm I manage, yes, we've taken advantage of grants, like value-added grants, even small grants for like PPE and whatever else, to try to, worker safety, if you will. We've done some things like that. So I think that's huge. Sometimes it's a significant investment into, even trying to be safe for all your workers, and, that helps.
And helps get the cost down.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
value added, it's a huge step if you go from, used to selling your produce to trying to actually make a product out of it. And, any type of machine that you may need, it's, significant compared to, let's say, buying a tractor. So, that really helps to, get yourself off the ground. So it is something that I'll be looking at myself, as I try to build out my own winery. If there's any grant opportunities available, hopefully be able
You
to
should talk.
apply for them.
Sadie got the value added for Myrtle Mods.
Yeah,
when we
I
had
know
it at
you
the kitchen.
did.
Yeah. So
that was huge.
Yeah, it was huge. Yeah.
Could you have done it without it? I don't know.
No,
I mean,
we probably wouldn't
it's a
have.
significant cost.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Did we get a total on pies sold this year?
I asked my mom, and she said that it's too much. I can't count. So we're not going to get a total this year. But last year was 900 and something, and she surpassed
Dang.
that.
Can't you
So-
go back and look in the books? How many?
Yeah, what
I
kind of
don't know.
bookkeeping are we doing?
Yeah.
We just had a whole
Hey,
episode about
I don't work.
unsung heroes.
Hey,
of,
I don't work the
admin.
register. I'm just a messenger, man.
he just counts the pennies as it
Yep.
goes.
Yep.
Yep.
Steve's just there to build stuff
Yep.
And burn it down.
and,
Burn it down.
and
Yes.
occasionally burn it down.
Tractor,
Whoops.
Catch
whatever.
a tractor on fire.
Yep.
The woodshed.
The woodshed. Yep. Burn that baby down.
Is the new barn done yet or what?
No, we're supposed to be starting in the next week, 2 weeks.
Nice.
Said it would be done in a few days.
It's gonna go up quick.
It is.
Man, how many people are going to do that?
I don't know.
Few
That'd
days.
be
That's a
interesting.
decent size.
He's
barn.
not doing any of the doors or windows.
Oh,
We're gonna
that's
put those in
right.
later, but he's just gonna frame
That's
it and
your
steel it.
project.
Yep.
We just got our doors on our barn.
Nice.
Huge doors.
Like overhead doors, slider doors. What are
No,
you
big
talking?
ones. I forgot how tall they are.
Oh, hey, I know what I
18
wanted
something
to
foot.
ask you about that
18
barn. Did you
18
guys
foot
make
tall.
that so you can drive the semis in there and load
Yes.
it?
Yep.
Okay, that's
Yep.
what I thought.
Semis can go all the way in, and we can load and unload inside trains. And
'Cause I was
it's a
curious
flatbed.
Oh, you don't like getting rained on?
No, I'm a fair weather farmer.
I am too.
The first truck, the first Devsky driver pulled in, and he goes, "This will be nice to unload in or load in, so you don't get to get wet when it's raining."
Yeah, so you're
That's what we
throwing
were thinking.
straps. Yeah.
We almost did
Well,
doors.
that's why I
on, we
couldn't
almost
figure-
did doors on the side, so they could have came in from the
The other
opening
way.
spot and did a loop. But instead, they're just going to pull in and back straight in.
When
So you
were
almost thought that through. all
when
the
you were
way.
loading your
Almost.
big truck and trailer that day, I didn't know why you didn't pull in and do it.
Well, one of the seals on the axles leaks super bad.
Oh,
And
like
so-
the tractor I'm borrowing too.
Yeah, we have some leaks. There's some leaks.
They call it that's a case, isn't it? And that's the dust control.
Yeah. So I did not pull that one in. That truck doesn't go in the barn. It sits only in
It's
the
a little
yard.
dry out there. You just run them around a little,
And I told you, we have some valve issues going on.
Yeah.
We only have one
Only
remote
one that works.
only one remote that works. Otherwise, you plug the hose in, you pull a lever, and the hoses go flying.
Whoops.
Yeah, it's super cool. That'll get addressed this winter.
Yeah, that's always the winter fun. All the repairs that you kick down the road, kick the can on.
Yep. We try and rip through our harvesters as many as we can. We have 7 sets of coes, and
I
we
think
try and
having
get all
one
those
set of
done.
coes is terrible.
Well, you gotta have backups.
Yeah. Some days I wish I had one of them and just pull it out of the barn and say, all right, I don't have
Yeah.
to fix this thing at 11 o'clock at night.
We
But-
have one for sale. It's a 2000 set. 2000.
Oh, I think I've seen that one.
Yeah,
It's
for
getting
sale.
pretty old.
I know. We got to get rid of it. We have a
You haven't talked Zach into buying it.
we have a 2000.
Doesn't have a
we
joystick. I don't want it.
Oh,
Does
yeah,
not have a
that's-
joystick. It's our
that's-
last stick shaker.
Yep.
Mm.
No, I don't.
Can't
We've
buy
got one
that.
of those too,
That-
and I don't.
Yeah,
Nope.
we have a
Core no go.
Yeah, we have a 2000, a 2011, 213,
That joystick
14,
is
and a
night and
15,
day, man.
and a 98. We have a huge set. It's like from 1998, and it's like we specially made it for us for sweet cherries, and it's like 30% longer. It's like when you
need
drive
to upgrade
when
that.
you drive the catcher in the tart blocks, you don't even have to move it for 2 trees because the shaker can get 2 trees.
Oh, really?
2
The
trees.
Well, that's gotta be pretty-
longer too.
Oh yeah.
Really?
It's got to be pretty efficient then, huh?
It's I mean, it's got
Except
some
for when
hours.
you
It's got some
turn it
hours
around.
on it. Oh yeah, it's like you pull the lever and like it lifts up so long
Oh,
to
that.
get the front of the pan to come off
Say
the
those
ground.
those newer codes, the joystick, man.
Oh,
Talk
they're
about efficiency.
they're
It's so slick.
Yeah, they are.
Except for
pretty
you got to be
cool.
careful washing it.
Yeah.
Yep. I've burned up a couple.
Our buttons go out all the time. We always have to switch the.
I have a problem with the
The
throttle
buttons.
pedal.
Yeah, we have we get sensors that go out on those.
Oh yeah, all the time. You got to cover that thing when you're washing it, or you'll be walking.
Nope. Just a lot of agua going on ours. Just
Yeah.
buckets. And then the key turned all the way back. That's a big problem.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I haven't had that one yet.
No, the guys they like to turn the key all the way to accessory and then they jump off.
Battery disconnect switches.
Yeah.
Shut them off at the end of the night.
Yeah, but when the next crew you wash and then the next crew shows up in 20
Man,
minutes to
you
run.
guys don't
Yeah.
you have like a big water tanker you can pull up to that thing?
No,
and
we
wash
use
it?
cherry water tanks from
Yeah, I
Cherries.
used to do that when I was a young
They might.
kid.
Bruce's.
He wants to
saw
get a
how a
fire,
fire
truck.
truck
Yeah.
Well,
works
see,
in
that's what
action,
I'm
and he's-
thinking. I would buy a fire truck and
That's
do
what we
that.
use.
Yeah, he's really wants to do something like that.
Yeah.
but
I mean,
for
I
the
just
most part, we
pull up to
keep
the
an extra
well
bus.
with the 1-inch hose and wash them off. That works pretty good.
Yeah, we do that when we can, when we buy one, but sometimes
Yeah.
there's no wells around.
Yes, that is
The
true.
cherry tank works good, but sometimes we just clear off where the operator sits and the day shift shows up and the night shift, or they just switch and it's 15
Well, if you never,
minutes.
if you never stop, you don't have to
Well,
wash
yeah,
it. Right?
our
Right.
machines stop longer at lunch break than they do at the shift change. It's the amount of hours that the
Yeah.
machines get is pretty crazy. A lot of maintenance,
Yes,
harvesters.
tons.
And they're a lot of money for a machine that you use for.
3 weeks to a month out of the year.
It is crazy the amount of money that they cost.
Yes.
Hey, I'm not complaining, but could we get a new seat in that case tractor too this winter?
No, that seat's been hit since I started driving it. I want to get one that has a buddy seat next to it because there's that gap there that you could
Right.
get. You could get one in, but
Yeah.
my kid likes to ride around. He's small enough. He just sits on like on
He'll
the
still fit.
armrest.
The
Yeah, on
armrest.
the armrest. But that's not going to last forever. So what's next for your farm? You have any projects, expansions coming up? You said you just leased some more acreage.
We just leased a neighbor's cherry farm. You know, he aged out, retired. So instead of pushing the farm out, we just took it on.
Your family farm or
No,
the
no farm I manage.
Farm you manage,
You know, it was
okay.
just a neighbor's farm, touch the farm type thing. So we took that on. You know, it's for my family farm. Still looking to plant, you know, more fresh market, you know, varieties of anything. So fresh market apples, maybe some fresh market sweet cherries is kind of the future goal. Plus, obviously, trying to go value added and build a wine tasting room / winery, if you will.
Well, if anybody else, is there anything else you want to
I
say?
think you
I mean, there's a lot
have
more stuff
covered
to
it.
talk to Nate, but we'll just have to have him back.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Hopefully, I got what you wanted. Hopefully,
Dude, it was great.
You did great.
You nailed it, dude.
awesome.
Yep.
A lot of great knowledge. We appreciate you coming in.
Hey, well, thanks for having me.
Would you like to be found on social media? Do you want to put a plug in for your socials?
Gosh, I don't really have.
What about
a
your
lot of
wine? You got your
social-
wine? Where can they find your stuff?
Well, nowhere yet.
They can stop by the farm and ask for a sample.
I'll put a plug in a later one. How's that
Yeah.
sound? But there is a plug.
That
Perfect.
sounds good.
Like I say, I'm not a social media guy, but I got to get in, join the 21st century, as they say.
Hey, that's
go.
where your wife comes in.
Yeah, exactly. She's more of the social media technology person, man. Technology
Every
just
farm
fights
needs
me.
one of those.
Yes.
Every farmer. Every
I'm too busy farming, you know.
I have that problem too.
Yes, I don't know. I don't think so.
yeah.
I think you do all the
He's
social.
too busy YouTubing and
Yes,
not farming. If you were to
exactly.
ask Tom,
I don't know how he gets anything done in a day's time.
Yeah, you'd be surprised about you just a quick 15 minutes of talking. If you have it planned out enough, you can get a lot done in a quick period of time. But yeah, I mean, there's a couple times I got to stop and get the drone out. And
Take
how
some
long it
footage.
takes him to
Crash it.
hook up a 3-row shank?
that
Yes.
was trouble last week. That was very frustrating. It'll start pouring rain too. Not happy about that.
No.
Well, we have a couple more guests coming up. Nikki Rothwell, who heads the Northwest Michigan Horticulture Research Center
Correct.
for Michigan State up here. She will be in the next episode, I believe. So I'm sure we'll have to think up some good questions for that because she's got a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience working with specialty crops here in northern Michigan. So, yeah, if nobody has anything else, I guess that means that this is the end of episode 13 of the Specialty Cropcast. Thanks again to Wilbur-Ellis for supporting this episode. With more than 100 years of experience, they're helping growers move forward with custom solutions, expert advice, and trusted products. You can find this on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and the video versions on YouTube if you're watching there. Nate, thanks again for coming in.
Thanks for having
Thanks,
me.
Nate.
Thanks, Nate.
It's good to see everybody.